Michael Schumacher's boss emotional as he discusses F1 legend. "We love each other." Michael Schumacher has reportedly been bedbound since a horrific skiing accident in 2013. The German racing legend's pal Jean Todt, who is president of the Formula One governing body FIA, is one of the few people who has visited the seven-time world champion at his home following the accident. He was also director of the Ferrari Formula One team from 1993 to 2007 and was one of the first to witness the successes of Schumacher, who won 5 consecutive world championships with the Scuderia team. Todt was visibly emotional as he opened up about his friendship with the driver after collecting a Lifetime Achievement Award from German magazine Auto Bild. Upon accepting his award on Friday, Todt said, "Pictures of him hang everywhere in my offices and apartments. The time with Michael will always be remembered as the best of my life. We love each other because we wrote an incredible story together. And because we always stuck together in difficult times." Michael, 49, suffered life-changing injuries after a skiing accident in the French Alps. He spent months in a coma and now requires round-the-clock care at his mansion in Gland, Switzerland. His condition remains a mystery, with his manager Sabrine Kem saying it was a private matter, but the family were grateful for the support. Just yesterday, she said Michael was planning to disappear from the public eye just months before his horror accident. She said, "What can be said is that the family really appreciates the empathy of the fans. The people really do see and understand. His health situation is not to be shared in the public eye." Mr. Todt, 72, also opened up about his special memories with the F1 star in his interview. The motor boss said his best memory was when Schumacher became world champion after 21 years in 2000. In April 2015, it was announced that Schumacher had shown moments of consciousness and awakening. The only statement his wife Corinna Bech has given read, "The decision to protect his privacy from the public has been taken in Michael's interest. We have made it very clear that something serious has happened." Fans of the star regularly post messages on Schumacher's page asking their family to give more details about his condition. Friends and former colleagues of the star have also asked for more details about the health of the F1 hero. Schumacher and Ferrari won 5 titles on the spin between 2000 and 2004, the Scuderia having also secured the 1999 Constructors' Championship to build a Formula One record run of consecutive team trophies. Fernando Alonso and Renault broke the sequence in 2005 and 2006, although Ferrari did return to winning ways with Kimi Räikkönen in 2007 and a 16th Constructors' crown the following year. But that remains their last title. Smedley worked at Ferrari as a test engineer and Felipe Massa's race engineer during Schumacher's spell in red and spelled out exactly how much of an impact his first retirement had. Asked if the German great's departure affected Ferrari, Smedley said, "Totally. He was still involved in the team and there was thoughts at some point as to how involved he was going to be. He never wanted to do that and I think that was a shrewd move by Michael." Next news. I watched the Brazilian GP with Michael Schumacher. FIA president and former Michael Schumacher team boss Jean Todt has spoken from the minds of many fans with his criticism of the German Formula One TV broadcast by RTL. Tenor, too much advertising. Racing events hardly comprehensible. Todt prefers split-screen advertising. In an interview with Auto Bild Motorsport, the Frenchman now gives concrete form to his criticism and reveals that he followed the race on RTL while visiting his friend Michael Schumacher. I'm actually always cautious when I say something. But it's true that I watched the Brazil GP in Switzerland with Michael, says Todt. What the 72-year-old disliked. I was very frustrated because I couldn't believe my eyes after 5 minutes. When I watch a race, I always have an iPad lying next to me with all the times. That's why advertising doesn't bother me so much. I also understand that private broadcasters finance their coverage in this way and that the procedure complies with the law. But I would have wished for one of those little windows in the corner where I wouldn't miss the race completely. When I see a race, I want to be able to understand it. The reporting itself by RTL does not want to pillory Todt. The reporters and commentators are very competent. I didn't want to criticize that. I know how difficult this job is. I wouldn't want to do that and I always advised Michael against it, Todt concluded. According to German law, RTL is allowed to show 12 minutes of advertising per hour. Next news: Giancarlo Fisichella pays tribute to former rival Michael Schumacher. Giancarlo Fisichella has paid an emotional and moving tribute to his former F1 rival Michael Schumacher, saying that the legend of F1 rewrote the history of Formula One. Fisichella was part of the Renault team that was led by Fernando Alonso, that pipped Schumacher and Ferrari in the mid-2000s. Schumacher has been in a bad condition ever since 2013, when the all-time most successful Formula One driver had a skiing accident and suffered serious brain injuries. The German is currently recovering at his house in Switzerland, but has not been seen publicly since the accident over 5 years ago. "We were friends," Fisichella told RAI. "He was a great football fan and we regularly kicked a ball together. As a colleague, he was an incredible opponent, and he rewrote the history of Formula One. Having raced with him, he has given me so much, and the few times I came in front made me even more proud because he is a great champion. It is a cruel fate that someone who has raced so often risked his life is badly injured while skiing. I would like to embrace him and talk to him. I would tell him how well his son Mick is developing, that he is winning races and maybe be world champion one day, like his father. I hope from the bottom of my heart that he can live a normal life again. Nobody knows what to tell me about his condition and that makes me very sad." Next news: Schumacher is a star, Alonso is a circle, Andrea Stella. This quite extraordinary quote comes from Formula One engineer Andrea Stella, who has been the man behind Fernando Alonso for the past decade. Stella also knows Michael Schumacher very well after joining Ferrari in 2000, which was also in the golden era for the Italians. When Alonso replaced Kimi Räikkönen at Ferrari in 2009, Stella was signed to be his engineer, and then he followed the Spaniard when he moved to McLaren 6 years later, all the way until his recent retirement. There are very few people who have the experience that Stella has to compare the two Formula One greats. If you take a circle of qualities, where Fernando is very high, in all of them, but potentially not the best in any of them, I think Michael was potentially the best in some of them, but in some others he was weaker than Fernando, the 49-year-old told BBC Sport. So Michael's would be more like a star, whereas Fernando's is more like a perfect circle. Michael was an attacking driver. He approached things from beyond the limit, back to the limit. Fernando is more from below the limit, to the limit. So for example, Michael's capacity to control the rear end and drive an oversteer car was just unbelievable. But sometimes this became his weakness. Because he drove a car so oversteery in free practice that when it came to qualifying, where you pushed it one more, He might have too much oversteer or too much rear tire degradation in the race. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to share and subscribe to your channel to get the latest sports news around the world. Wished health and success. Goodbye.